Florian Wirtz has been nothing but a huge flop. At least that is what many people have been saying. Liverpool spent a massive amount of money to bring in a player from a weaker league. And to a lot of fans, it seemed obvious that he would not be able to handle the pace and physical side of the Premier League. People said he was not built for it and that the move was always going to fail. You probably heard these kind of opinions all season long, right? And to be fair, Wirtz did not start his Liverpool career in the best way. He did not hit the ground running, and during games you could clearly see that he was struggling. His touches were not as clean, his decisions felt rushed, and at times he looked lost on the pitch. But this should not have been a surprise. He was coming into a completely new league, playing at a much higher intensity and trying to build chemistry with new teammates. He needed time to adapt, and because of that, writing him off so early in his first season was simply a silly mistake from his critics. Now that we are halfway through the season, things are starting to change. Wirtz has begun to find his rhythm, and you can finally see flashes of the player Liverpool paid for. These performances are only a small glimpse of what he is capable of. He looks more confident on the ball, more comfortable in tight spaces, and more involved in the game overall. So what changed? Is it just a matter of time and adaptation, or are there other reasons behind the clear improvement in Florian Wirtz's performances? Well, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and let us jump straight into the video. So guys, let us start by debunking the first myth. Florian Wirtz is not physical enough, and because of that, he will struggle in the Premier League. Now, this is partly true. Wirtz does have a small frame and a lighter build, so he is not as strong as many Premier League players. He is not the type of player who will constantly knock opponents to the ground in shoulder-to-shoulder battles or push defenders away with pure strength. That is just not his game. But here is the important part. Physicality can be learned, and it should be learned. Yes, that might sound a bit strange at first, but let us explain what that really means. Players with smaller frames like Wirtz usually learn how to survive very early in their careers. When they are growing up and playing at youth level, they often face players their age who are much bigger and stronger than them. Because of that, they are forced to adapt in different ways. You can see this with other smaller players who are performing at a high level in the Premier League right now, like Manchester City's Ryan Cherki. Cherki knows exactly how to deal with pressure. Instead of relying on strength he does not have, he uses his arms in smart ways, placing them on key areas like a defender's shoulder to unbalance them and protect the ball. He does not need raw force because he does not have it. What he does have is awareness and technique. Knowing how and when to use your body like that is a very basic skill, but it is also one of the most underrated traits in modern football. Cherki definitely learned this at a young age, and Wirtz shares that same ability. It is simple. In order to survive, you have to adapt, and Flo has already shown signs that he is starting to adapt to the physical side of the Premier League. Let us look at a few examples to really understand this. In this situation, Wirtz receives the ball out wide with a defender right on his back, closing him down at full speed. What he does next is the key part of this whole action. He immediately uses his left arm and places it across the defender, aiming straight for the shoulder. By doing this, his arm becomes a barrier. It stops the defender from stepping in front of him, and by targeting the shoulder, he slightly unbalances him and kills his momentum. In one smooth movement, our German attacker drives away with the ball and then finishes the action with a clever backheel pass. That single touch opens up space and leads to a dangerous opportunity for us. Here we have another situation where Wirtz gets sandwiched between two players, yet somehow comes out of it clean. Once again, this is not about raw strength. It is about how smartly he uses his arms and his body to ride the double challenge. You can see him stretch both arms across the incoming defenders, bend his knees to lower his center of gravity, and almost surf his way out of pressure while keeping full control of the ball. These are the small details players with Wirtz's frame learn while growing up. They are basic principles that even stronger players should use, but for smaller players they become a survival tool. That is why the talk about his physical struggles was massively overblown. And while these details help a lot, Wirtz also deserves credit for the work he has been putting in behind the scenes. Arne Slot himself admitted that the German has been doing extra sessions in the gym, and reports suggest he has added around 2.5 kilos of lean muscle since joining the Reds. Now, let us move away from the physical side of things. Being stronger alone is not enough for a player to go from struggling to delivering solid performances week after week. So now, let us talk tactics. Take a look at Wirtz's heat map so far this season. You can see that his activity is spread all over the pitch. That is because he was given the freedom to roam, drop deep, and drift into both wide areas whenever the game needed it. But if you look a bit closer, you will notice something interesting. He has started to become much more active on the left side of the pitch, and that is something that has only really happened in recent weeks. Here are the 3 heat maps from our last games against Brighton, Spurs and Wolves. When you compare them to his overall heat map for the season, the difference becomes very clear. Flo is barely active on the right side of the pitch anymore, and even in moments where he does touch the ball there, it is nowhere near the level of involvement we saw from him earlier in the season. This change is not random. His role has clearly become more focused, and by limiting his time on the right, he is now operating in areas where he feels more comfortable and more dangerous. That positional stability is helping him read the game better, arrive in space at the right time, and have a bigger impact on the flow of play. Now, we are not saying that Wirtz has been locked to the left side in these recent games. He still has the freedom to roam, drop into pockets, and show up in open spaces when the situation allows it. But the difference is clear. He has been far more involved on the left, and the best example of that is his performance against Wolves, where he was practically playing as a left winger for large parts of the game. Of course, positions alone do not define how a player performs, especially when we are talking about someone as versatile as Wirtz. Still, every player has preferred areas on the pitch where they feel more comfortable and can express themselves better. For Wirtz, that area is clearly the left side. And if we go back to earlier in the season, it becomes easy to understand why. In this example, you can see him operating in the right half space. Because of his positioning and body orientation, he receives the ball on his stronger right foot and then needs an extra moment to adjust his posture so he can turn onto it again. That small delay makes a big difference at this level. In that same game against Burnley, after he switched over to the left side, you can see the difference straight away. In this moment, his body orientation allows him to receive the ball on his left side. The ball then naturally drops onto his right foot, and he is immediately able to drive forward. There is no need to reset or slow the play down. From there, he feints, twists, and glides past defenders with ease. His first Premier League assist against Spurs shows exactly why he prefers operating in that zone. Yes, the move starts from a transition, but the key detail is where he ends up receiving the ball. He picks it up in the left half space, and from that position, his decision making becomes much clearer. Instead of carrying the ball into the open space, you can see him drive straight at the defender and freeze him in place. That moment of hesitation is all Wirtz needs. From there, he opens his body and plays the through ball with his stronger right foot, slipping Isak in to finish. If he had received the ball on the right side instead, even with his ability to use both feet, he would likely have carried the ball forward to look for a shot on his right. Against the pace of Premier League defenders, that could easily have ended with him losing possession. Every player has instincts, and those instincts are shaped by where they feel most comfortable on the pitch. Because of that, a player's positioning can have a huge influence on their decision making and on the quality of actions they produce. So when you really look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear that the early criticism around Florian Wirtz was rushed and unfair. Yes, he struggled at the start. Yes, the Premier League is a different beast. But none of that meant he was a flop or that he was not built for this level. What it actually meant was that he needed time, patience, and the right conditions to show what he can really do. Over the past weeks, we have seen clear signs of growth. Physically, he looks stronger and more confident when dealing with pressure. He knows how to use his body better, protect the ball, and ride challenges without panicking. Tactically, his role has become clearer. By operating more on the left side, he is now playing in areas that suit his instincts, his body orientation, and his decision making. That alone has made a huge difference in how effective he looks on the pitch. And the most exciting part is that this still feels like the beginning. These performances are not the finished product. They are just flashes of what Wirtz can become once he is fully settled, fully confident, and fully adapted to the league and his teammates. Liverpool did not sign him for a few months of form. They signed him for the long run. So before writing players off after a slow start, especially young ones coming from different leagues, it is worth taking a step back. Development is not always linear, and adaptation takes time. If Wirtz continues on this path, improves physically, and keeps being used in the right areas, there is no doubt he will become a key player for this team. So guys, let us know what you think about Florian Wirtz so far. Has he changed your opinion recently? Do you think the best is yet to come from him? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.